Hi guys, it's Circle M. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today we're going to take a look at the LBT 2657. 2657 is an excellent quality long-term stay bag. You would use this bag if you're either carrying a whole bunch of equipment or you're going to be staying out in the field for an extended period of time. Where it differs from more modern rucks is that it uses this older Alice style frame. This frame may or may not be better for you depending a little bit on how you pack the bag, how you carry it, the shape of your back, how tall you are, because this one does not have the adjustability that the more modern, like the Molly 2 ruck, that plastic frame does. The advantage that this one has over the older plastic frame is when it sits on your back, you get a little bit more ventilation since it holds it further away. Where that can play a disadvantage is that if you have this packed poorly, or depending on what you're carrying, it can cause the bag to pull on you a little bit, so you do have to remain conscientious of that if you are going to use this bag. On the bottom of this bag, most of these Alice bags come with like a little buckle in the back. This one instead comes with paracord. You can see I had to kind of make a giant rat's nest out of it in order to get it to hold this waist pad on. But the advantage to that is if this breaks in the field, you can repair it if you have more paracord. If the buckle is broken, you're kind of out of luck. The waist pad itself is reasonably comfortable. It does have a decent amount of adjustment in these straps, not that you ever would be using them. Same with the chest strap. It's got a lot of room to adjust, but you probably won't use it. The difference between this and like the Molly ruck is that it does not have those quick detach combat clips. Instead, it uses a plastic buckle. The outside of the bag has a decent amount of Molly on both sides for you to be able to attach extra stuff, but due to the fact that it has these permanently attached sewn-in front pouches, there is no Molly room on the front. The bottom of the bag has a little bit of Molly on it. You could add a couple of things down here too. These permanently attached exterior pouches can either be an up or a down, depending on what you're using it for and how you pack them. I'm able to fit pretty comfortably 7 30-round Magpul magazines in a single pouch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If these are with magazines, you have your ruck laid down and you need to quickly access them, you can pop the pouch open, grab your mags, do your reloads, and it functions well. The downside to that is you have a heavy object that's pretty far away from your back and out from your center of gravity, which means the bag can pull down on you more in a more uncomfortable position. So keep that in mind. The other disadvantage to this type of pouch is that by the way this pouch hangs over the other one, you are going to have to fight with it a little bit to get that object out because it's partially blocked by these magazines. If you do empty these pouches, they don't collapse down very well, so you are going to have something that does flop a little bit, even with the buckle taken all the way in. Just like the original Alice packs, there are gaps behind each one of these pouches for you to run an object like a hatchet or a shovel down the back. The amount of adjustment in the straps is pretty generous. All of the straps on this bag do have a lot of extra slack, so you can get it to sit however you need it to sit. You can see through the side that this does have a lot of ventilation. Where I think this bag would do the best is in like a hot weather environment, so you can get a lot of air circulating around you. The chest straps also include these 2 patches here, which are on Velcro. That's to help you keep a rifle stable when you're shouldering it, if you shoulder the rifle while carrying the bag. Internally, this bag has a lot of space for it. We're about to unpack it using the pillow standard, which I devised for 2 reasons. That pillow standard allows you to easily visualize how much space you have, because not everyone can always visualize the cubic centimeters or cubic inches or whatever. Number 2, it's a great way to make fun of officers, because we know that their bags are full of pillows. In this top detachable pouch here, I'm able to fit 1 travel pillow on the very top, and in the second compartment, I'm able to fit a whoopee. It has a little bit of extra wiggle room, but not much. This top compartment itself is actually detachable and could be used in theory like a small little backpack. You can see these supplementary straps here. However, it is not very strong, and so I would probably discourage you using it for that purpose. The bag itself only uses 1 drawstring, which is a little bit different than the Molly ruck, which has 2 separate drawstrings. It just uses the 1. This internal compartment will expand to help you have space for whatever you have in there. We are able to fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pillows. in the main body, which is a pretty decent amount of storage space, especially when you factor in the expansion from the lid and the 6 pouches on the outside. It does include a divider, which when I got this bag, I was a little bit confused. I was expecting a divider that was very similar to the Molly style divider that comes with the Molly 2 ruck with a little zipper or the optional cordable grommets. In this case, I got a couple of grommets on both sides and a little piece of paracord, and it didn't really make much sense to me because when I tried to draw it in, it wouldn't draw in very well. You can see that paracord dangling off the top, and it's got very short little grommets here. These grommets appeared as if they were supposed to be used in conjunction with another piece of removable material. There's an identical set of grommets here on the bottom, and they overall did not inspire a lot of confidence because of how short they are. It would make you think that you need that extra piece in order to draw it across. Because when this is folded out into a shelf, you can see it's pretty small. And so what ended up happening was I called and emailed LBT to ask them about it because I thought I got missing a piece. And they told me actually no, this is designed to be laced up with the grommets of both of these short pieces touching each other, which seemed a little odd because you do lose a lot of volume in the pack for that, but they assured me that was the way it's designed. So I'm going to lace it up in that manner. I'm going to repack it with the pillows for you to see the difference in how that bag sits. Got that divider laced up according to LBT's instructions, and in order to access the bottom compartment, it's very similar to the Molly ruck. You do have these large over-the-top straps which you have to undo in order to open that properly. I think that's a design flaw, but it seems that everyone's making their bags that way, so we're just going to have to get over it. And if you look, I have laced this according to their instructions. You'll notice that this is a pretty tight arrangement. The shelf is not very large by lacing it, but this is what they said to do. We've got the bag repacked with the pillows, stuffed to capacity, but now we're using the internal divider. Look, you'll notice that this bag has actually taken a pretty big divot in the middle because those two grommets do not stick out very far from the walls of the bag, so in order to lace them together, you are actually squishing in the center of the bag to make it fit. It reduces the pack volume by a surprising amount. So let's unpack it and take a look. We can now fit 2 pillows in the top compartment, and that is it. And you can see we are buttressed up against that netting pretty quickly. I've got this laced through exactly according to their instructions. You see it did take a lot of that volume out of there. In the bottom, we are able to fit 1 bed pillow. So we lost a pretty decent amount of capacity in the main body by lacing it according to their instructions. But not to worry, I have an alternative suggestion. Now you can see, instead of threading it tightly, I threaded it much more loosely. The downside to doing this is now, if you put a small object in there, it will be able to fall through the bottom. So, here's my fix for that. You take a wet weather bag in the larger size, and you'll put it down in the top of the bag. As you can see, this larger wet weather bag actually fits the top of the bag pretty nicely. It's about the same dimension, so it's not very squeezed, and now if you put a small object inside the bag, it won't fall all the way through the bottom through the paracord. Another feature that this bag has is the large internal pouch, which is designed for carrying a military radio, but you can use it to carry other equipment. And as you can tell from the long strap, it has quite a bit of adjustment that it's capable of. I can easily fit 3 3-liter camelbacks in this space right here. The removable part of this top lid is kept in place with a zipper that is secured with a button. It's pretty secure, so you have to pull on it deliberately in order to get it to detach. The top lid, when it is secured to the bag, has 4 zippers designed for you to be able to access the internal parts of the bag without taking the whole lid apart. In addition to those 4 lid zippers to get to the internal, it has 4 more zippers that are built into the extendable neck of this bag. My guess is that second internal zippered component to reach the inside is intended to be used after you have removed the lid and perhaps drawn the drawstring down as tight as it can go to still close the top of the bag. All in all, I have to say I really like this bag. It rides differently than the Molly rucksack that I'm used to, and I like that in some ways because it does increase the ventilation to your bag. So in a hot environment, that is really important. And when it's in its fully expanded configuration, it does have a little bit more space than that traditional Molly ruck too, especially if you are using these exterior pockets and the top lid intelligently. These do pop up on the used and surplus market from anywhere from $150 to $300, depending on the condition of the bag and who you buy it from. And if you do get a chance to use it and you are very fond of the Alice Ruck frame, I would highly recommend that you get it because it rides very well, it's very well built, and it has a lot of modularity and adaptability based on what you want to do. I hope this was a helpful review to you. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time.